Now, with Kendall the Spider Grove from The Ultimate Fighter 3, you are here to challenge Jesse JT Money Taylor for his middleweight belt here in our main event coming up. Tell me how you feel about this matchup that's about to happen.
I feel good. I trained. I prepared myself to the best that I can. I had a good camp, and I'm excited. JT Money is tough. He's world-class grappler, wrestler. His pressure is unbelievable. So, and if you've seen a lot of my fights where I didn't do so good, it was against guys like that. So, I changed up my camp. I've been working a lot of wrestling, a lot of strength conditioning. So, what better way to test it with a guy like him and a champ? You know what I mean? If you want the best, go for the top of the mountain. I'm excited. I can't wait. These kind of fights get me going. You know what I mean? This is the kind of gets me up early to go run, go lift weights, and just get better as an all-around athlete. And I'm excited to be going up against him. I'm blessed to be going up against the champ, and I'm gonna go home with that belt.
I'm standing here with the middleweight champion of Chaos Entertainment, Jesse JT Money Taylor, for The Ultimate Fighter, Infamy, and beyond. How you doing tonight? And tell us about this fight that you're about to do.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's a big fight. I'm going to represent. I'm defending my belt, the Chaos middleweight belt. I'm ready. Hopefully Kendall came ready. I want the best possible Kendall. I know there's some stuff going on with him, but you know, people fight at their best when they have a lot of stuff going on in their life. So I'm sure the best possible Kendall's going to come forward, and I'm ready for it. And that's going to bring the best JT Money out in me, and it's going to be a hell of a fight. The victory's mine.
All right, as you said, Hollywood, we're set for this massive main event. Jesse JT Money Taylor defending his belt against Kendall the Spider Grove. And this might be a big call, but this may be the biggest fight in the world outside of the UFC. What do you think about that?
Well, let me tell you, I'm really excited about this particular matchup. I've been a big fan of The Ultimate Fighter, obviously, like a lot of mixed martial artists. And I've had a time to spend with both these guys. I actually trained with Kendall back in '07. I got to know Jesse quite a bit over November when we both fought on the same card, and I defended my belt against Dave Johnson. So it was a really interesting matchup. These guys are both world class. They both fought in the UFC. They both have Ultimate Fighter experience and Ultimate Fighter pedigrees, really, because I mean Jesse was probably on route to winning that before.
Unfortunate accidents, we'll leave it at that, right?
Unfortunate accidents. He is, he goes 100%, no matter whether he's fighting or partying.
But he did work very hard to sort of redeem himself and clean up his act, so to speak, because he admitted himself when I spoke to him that he stuffed up, but he worked hard to gain that respect back, and he's just an elite athlete and world class.
You know, if you look at Jesse's record, Jesse and Kendall both outside of the UFC, I mean, they've got mixed results. They have mixed results outside, but if you look at them outside the UFC, they've both done exceptionally well. They've racked up titles in different places. They both have a loss to a common opponent, a very tough, I want to say Russian guy, or a Polish guy, I believe, anyway.
I saw that on his record, and he's had some good victories as well, so he's probably in line for a UFC shot.
Yeah, this could mean a ticket back to the big show for either one of these athletes. We'll see if, the performance is good enough. You know, who knows what they've got up their sleeves for Australia, but they're coming.
Well, that's what the UFC looks for. They look at who, people are fighting, and said this is a world-class fight. You got Kendall the Spider Grove, 13 UFC appearances, 7 victories. And, Ultimate Fighter Season 3 winner. You've got Jesse Taylor, Season 7 finalist before he couldn't complete. As you said before, probably would have won the show if he didn't have that unfortunate incident. But, again, worked hard to redeem himself. Hugely impressive in defeating Steve Kennedy at Bragging Rights 4 to claim the belt. And he's looking to continue that with, again, world-class opposition tonight at Bragging Rights 5.
And I'm really pleased that we were able to get such a good opponent for Jesse coming in this fight, because he's a very, very tough competitor. You see what he did to Steve Kennedy. We see what Steve Kennedy just did to a much larger man. So we have obviously a worthy opponent in Kendall Grove as Ultimate Fighter winner. And how many did you say? 13 fights?
13
that
fights
is
in the UFC.
A lot of experience in the big show. These guys' records outside, they've both been very effective journeymen, and we will see how this goes. I've been very excited about this matchup for a long, long time, so I can't wait.
As analysing this fight, where do you see this, strengths of both fighters? What is JT Money, Jesse Taylor going to try and do? Where does he want to take this fight?
Yeah, well, there's no secret. JT wants this fight on the ground. He's a D1 wrestler and a grinder. All of his fights incorporate, all his victories incorporate some very, very dominant wrestling on his part. And I feel like, I saw him in the Ultimate Fighter when he's in the UFC and stuff, and I've seen him since. I've worked with him, and man, the guy's done nothing but get better. And he's also, you got to think about the training camps these people are training with. JT Money is, of course, out of Temecula, Dan Henderson's Team Quest down in California, whereas Kendall has his own crew of people in Hawaii. And, the leading up to the fight, what the preparation the fighters are doing, it makes all the difference. And we're going to see who had the best camp tonight. That seems to be that's going to be the deciding factor. Because again, but either one of these guys, if these guys both show up 100%, this fight could easily go either way.
That's the thing, so much on the line. Not only the Chaos Entertainment middleweight title, but again, the winner of this could find themselves back in the UFC, the big show.
It's very possible. It's very, very possible. We had a talk with what's the guy? We had the representative for basically.
Oh, Tom Wright.
Yeah, that's right, Tom Wright.
UFC Director of Operations.
That's right, UFC Director of Operations everywhere but the United States, basically. He's the international guy, and he is working hard to get this cage ban lifted so that the UFC can put on some shows in Western Australia and Victoria, right? Is the other place.
That's right. So we'll touch on that very shortly. But in the meantime, again, I'm pumped. This is the main event of the evening. Let's send it up to Callum Rose, who's going to introduce the main event of the evening.
This bout is for the Chaos middleweight title of Australia. Ladies and gentlemen, it's clobbering time! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. Please put your hands together for Kendall.
I was talking to Kendall earlier, and he is working a lot on his striking and his boxing. He's a guy who learned how to lose his reach very late in the game. He's 6'6" at 185 pounds, or I guess 84 kilos for you guys, or the rest of the world rather. And that reach is a weapon. Boxers use it all the time, kickboxers use it all the time, and mixed martial artists sometimes have a hard time wrapping their head around the reach issue because there's so much gap closure in the wrestling aspect of the game. Kendall is one of those guys who was more of a jiu-jitsu guy, and he just started learning how to use his reach. It's going to be very, very interesting to see, because he said his last few victories have been by TKO, which is rare for a jiu-jitsu guy. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can use that to shut down Jesse's. If he can use that to shut down Jesse's double leg, because Jesse is looking to take him down, and Kendall knows it. Kendall has extremely long reach.
And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, please put your hands together for Jesse Taylor.
And here comes JT Money, Jesse Taylor defending his belt. And again, you can see the size difference. Obviously, Kendall's going to be looking to use his height and reach advantage, where Jesse Taylor's probably going to be trying to use his strength, and as you said, try and take it to the ground, because as you saw with the finish of Steve Kennedy at bragging rights for to claim the title with that rear naked choke. Very impressive, very strong and world class.
You don't want to hold still against Jesse, because if you are not a moving target, then he will run you over. So
and look who's behind him, the Hulk, Soa Palale, who's I think on the verge of getting back in the UFC himself after his disappointment at UFC 79. He's been working hard, pulling a string of victories together. His only loss coming against heavyweight Daniel Cormier, who's one of the best in the world. So
nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. So and again, a good victory over Sean McCorkle, who's had a few UFC fights himself, and he finished him off within a minute.
Yeah, Soa's been on a tear lately. It's going to be really interesting to see if the UFC wants to utilize him when they start putting some shows on down in this neck of the woods. He is a big man.
Well, he has to cut weight to make the heavyweight limit.
It'd be 265, right?
Exactly.
I don't know what that is in kilos. I don't speak Australian yet.
265, he's about 130 kilos, so he's probably got about 10 to lose.
Sounds about right.
He can do that. Again, this fight, so excited for this fight. Bringing two former UFC guys. You know, former Ultimate Fighter, Season 3 winner, Season 7 finalist. You know, this is probably the biggest MMA fight that Perth has ever had.
This is a big, big matchup. We've got two big names fighting in our main event of a big show here at the Italian Club, and I couldn't be more excited.
Let's send it up to Callum Rose for the intros.
2013, and we are live from the WA Italian Club in North Perth, Western Australia. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bragging Rights 5, unfinished business, and the following matchup is your main event of the evening. Outside this evening, 84-kilogram weight division, 5 by 5-minute rounds on the line, the Chaos Middleweight Championship. This bout is presided over by officials from the Combat Sports Commission of Western Australia. Your timekeeper, Shannon Whittington, the doctor at ringside, Dr. Paddy Golden. Your judges, Jogo, Slade Norris, and Nick Grady. And when the bell rings, the man in charge is the Peter Clements. And now, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Italian Club, are you ready? It's clobbering time!
I don't know how I feel about this clobbering time thing. I mean, do you really want to go Marvel Comics? Is that the direction you want to take the show?
Or CM Punk out of WWE.
Both fighters have been very, very active since their time in the UFC, and they are both hungry to get back in that big show. Essentially what we have in this matchup,
Both guys have the ability to do it as well.
that's right, we're looking at grappler versus grappler, but it's two different kinds of grappling, more of a jiu-jitsu versus a wrestling.
He trains with Team Quest and stands at a height of 6 foot 1 inches, weighing in at 84.
Both guys look ready to go. These are both seasoned pros in here.
I can't wait.
The Ultimate Fighter Series 7.
I've been on the edge of my seat for this matchup all month.
In California, in the USA, with a record of 33 fights and 24 wins, he is the current, reigning, and defending Chaos Middleweight Champion. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jesse JT Money Taylor.
Can't wait. Can't believe we're here, Hollywood.
Very, very excited. Talking to Jesse, he says he's been working a lot on the psychological aspect of the game. He's been doing some meditation and trying to get his center, his happy place going, and see if it pays off. Kendall just had twins, so if that's not motivation, I don't know what is.
Wow. This is it. Round 1. 5 rounds. 5 times 5-minute rounds.
5 fives, man.
Chaos middleweight title on the line.
Jesse circling. Kendall looking to maintain range.
Enjoy this, Perth, because we're not going to see it again for a while, especially the caliber of this fight.
Kendall needs to be careful throwing those kicks against a wrestler.
Take him down easy.
Yeah, here we go.
Straight takedown by
Jesse's going to get
JT
that.
Money.
Jesse doesn't not get a lot of takedowns. The question is, what can he do with it once he gets it? He's had trouble against submission guys in the past.
This is exactly where JT Money wants it, and in this early, he's got to be happy.
Yeah, this is an ideal situation for him. He likes to get it to the ground early and keep it there. Right now, he's working a good ground and pound. The Spider can't be ever counted out from the bottom, though. He's got those long legs.
So I was just thinking that himself.
I've seen him hit darces. I've seen him hit triangles and submissions that usually are very difficult for someone without his physical proportions to do. He can do them effortlessly, and one wrong mistake, and one wrong slip up for Jesse, and he could find himself in a very deep choke.
This is where his experience cuts in, because he's not panicking while he's on his back. He's just trying to survive, weather this storm, and get the fight where he wants it.
Yeah, Kendall's been there against some of the best in the world. He fought Alan Belcher. He fought a bunch of other great guys in the UFC. He fought Damian Maia.
Exactly.
So he's no stranger to the ground game. He's no stranger to tough, high-level opponents.
He's going
And
to
he's
try and
working
use
an
that
armbar
couch.
right now. He's working an armbar. It looks like he's got it pretty deep. Jesse better stack up here, or else he's going to get caught. He might be able to rip up.
He's got to put his weight on him and try and get that, that leverage.
That's what we're talking about with those dangerous legs. Oh, Jesse's
he's
caught.
caught.
He needs to get around. Jesse's going to have to circle around. He's
in
pushing.
deep.
He's pushing, but all right.
Well done by Jesse Taylor. He's not out. Yep, he's out. That looked pretty close.
Just to give you a taste of what a dangerous submission artist Kendall Grove is.
Give him that sort of opportunity, he'll take it.
Yeah. He's not really mounting a lot of offense aside from that armbar. He needs to get back up, which is Jesse's specialty, is hanging on you, which is what he's doing right now. He's going to just hang his weight on him and work on those legs until, but of course Kendall knows this, and Kendall's been in there with Tito and all the other wrestlers. He knows what he's in for, so.
It's a great technical battle by two UFC guys.
Yeah, very high level. It's awesome that this hasn't been a quick fight so far. I hope it goes the distance. It's great to watch two high level guys work. You know, even in the sparring room, if you're in Vegas or wherever, just watching two guys two guys who are at that level working. You can learn a lot from it.
As Taylor gets side control, now half guard.
Yeah, notice how calm Kendall is. He's making decisions right now. He's not reacting.
He's looking for an opportunity to go for another submission.
Absolutely.
Trying to set it up, and again, those long legs.
Very similar with my matchup with Dave Johnson, where I gassed early, and I was like, I'm going to have to just chill out on the bottom and protect myself. Don't
Wait
get
for the
cut.
moment.
Don't get cut. In the pro fights, you're always worried about elbows. As long as you don't get cut, if he doesn't mount too much of an offense, you pretty much chill there for the rest of the round. And you have 5 rounds, I learned that against Dave, to recover if you happen to be out of it in the first. So perhaps Kendall, with his experience, can hang out there. Although he doesn't look tired, he's just getting dominated with position at the moment and wrestling. But the longer Jesse stays in the guard of that long opponent, he's going to end up, he's putting himself at risk for submission. So he really wants to pass. That's really going to be in his best interest.
So far, he's got the fight where he wants it, but again, it's what he does where he's in control.
Yeah, well, I mean, if Kendall can't mount any kind of offense or get back to his feet, then Jesse is, by default, he would win a decision at the moment. But, you never know. He could catch a submission at any moment. Also, Jesse constantly driving Kendall into the cage like that is actually going to force him to catch angles because he is long like that. So if you push his head forward, he's going to turn his hips. You need to watch out for that because you can inadvertently throw yourself into a triangle choke or an armbar if you're not careful.
And said Kendall Grove is the type of athlete to get that in.
He's keeping position on Jesse's bicep here, and if you notice, he's shutting down all the strikes. Jesse's not able to land any effective strikes here due to Kendall's defense. So, I mean, he's getting beaten by the position, so maybe an advantage. But if you look at his face, he hasn't taken any damage yet. He doesn't look especially tired. He's just kind of
10
stuck
seconds of the round.
Yeah, he's just stuck underneath a superior top control guy. But we'll see what kind of offense he can mount in the second round here.
Entertaining, and as said, it is a technical battle that we're witnessing here. And again, it's a real treat to see guys with UFC experience, two UFC guys facing each other with UFC experience. And great first round, but you've got to give it to JT Money. Except for that submission attempt by Kendall Grove, that arm bar was very close.
It was a very scary armbar for Jesse, I'm sure. He looked like it looked to be pretty deep, and it was just Jesse's experience and strength that was able to work him out of that. Aside from that, however, that round was all JT Money. He was able to get the takedown and control him with the top positioning, and Kendall's inability to mount any kind of significant offense or stand up. That round's going to go to JT. However, there's 4 more to go, so we'll see which one has the best conditioning at this point. That's the next step.
As we see sexy MMA girl Sally strutting her stuff around with the Ring 2 round card.
Nothing wrong with that. Look at that.
Sensational. Well done to Kim Piper and her sexy MMA girls tonight.
Yes, props to Kim. Bringing the hot chicks.
It's living up to expectations so far. It's been great in the first round. Let's hope we continue in round number 2.
Very competitive. Kendall, you look at his face, he is still in this fight 100%. He is ready to go.
Not marked at all. Nice leg kick there by JT Money.
All right. A stuffed single. This is what Kendall wants. Kendall wants Jesse to fail shots. He wants to make him miss a couple of times so he can start landing those strikes.
And grind him down.
Jesse, on the other hand, has a. All right, this is Kendall's game. This front choke, this jiu-jitsu game. His size advantage will come into play in this position.
He's trying to sink in a dart.
Well, what he's looking for right now, he doesn't have a position. He wants to go to the back. It looks like he's going to have to settle for the guard, though.
Well worked by Jesse Taylor because Kendall Groves had a good position then, and he's found himself in a full guard position.
Yeah, that's right. He's doing a good thing in using this figure 4 lock.
But he's so strong.
Yeah, the problem with the figure 4 lock is it keeps you in range for punches, though. And so if you're not holding your opponent too close to hurt you, then you're keeping him in range to hurt you.
And Groves has done well from his back because, again, he's undamaged and he needs to sort of grind it out.
He's looking for the sweep right there. Against a good wrestler like Jesse, the sweep is probably not going to come through. You want to use the sweep to set up a submission or a stand-up. Kendall popping out to the side, though. Every time Jesse throws a punch, Kendall's trying to get his arm across the midline. There's another arm bar right here. Very tight attempt.
Setting it up.
And it could turn into a triangle if that arm gets trapped again.
He said he could not have done this if competing in a boxing ring.
Oh, I mean, the thing is that when Jesse, you have a high-level wrestler like Jesse, and he does a power double on a fighter, that move goes straight back and maybe cuts an angle, but a lot of times you just run the guy down, and if that happens, then you're going through the ropes, period. You're changing levels.
And that's in the mind of the fighter, and that's not a good thing.
Kendall scrambling here.
Well done,
back to
Kendall
the feet. Excellent work to the back. Fantastic work by Kendall Grove. Good recovery. Jesse looking to reverse and sit out. Now Jesse on his back. We don't see JT Money on his back very often. This is a bad position for him as a wrestler. Although at Team Quest Tremacula, he gets plenty of work with all the top jiu-jitsu guys. Dan Henderson, Sokaju, Chris Hara, Hala.
Let's see what JT Money can do off his back.
Yeah, we don't see Jesse on his back very often, man. Fatigue may be a factor. Kendall is looking very sharp right now. He's playing a very smart game plan. He gave up that first round, but you know what? He's got this one clutched, it looks like.
Yes, that's the thing, we don't see him normally on his back, but it's something he still would have worked on, especially if he knew that he's coming in against Kendall Grove. It's something he would have worked on with training camp.
Yeah, Kendall's going to need to watch those knees, make sure he doesn't accidentally clip Jesse in the head. Jesse looking for the Kimura.
Yeah.
Sometimes the half guard Kimura is not a great idea. Sometimes you can ratchet it out. Sometimes it gets you on barred.
And expend energy.
Yeah, and it's a power move no matter what you're doing it from. Very interesting fight so far. I couldn't have asked for a better, more competitive match so far.
And it's living up to the hype and expectations.
100%. This is really good. Crowd chanting Kendall now. Behind the new father of twins, I believe, bringing his grand total to 6 children back in Hawaii.
He's a machine and he's a machine.
Oh, he gets it done.
And no sign of any of these guys wearing out either. They're not gassing, they're working hard. It's a great technical battle. There's a hammer fist rained down from Kendall to Spider Grove.
Kendall working some very good jiu-jitsu position. He's got one hook in. He's working on number 2. And Jesse fighting it there with his hand. But, of course, every time he goes to defend that foot, he's leaving his neck open with only one arm.
And loses his position.
Yeah, exactly. But it looks like he's getting a reversal here. Jesse has fought back up. Now Kendall's he's left with only his options from the guard.
Fantastic by JT Money to get out of that.
Yeah, excellent reversal underneath. Although you can never, if you give a D1 wrestler, if you give him an inch of space, he will get back on top. So best thing to do when you get on top of a guy like that, you better start setting something up right away because he will be scrambling. Don't expect to hold a guy like JT Money down for any extensive period of time. If you get a reversal, you need to capitalize or get back up.
Got a great view here, Hollywood, right in front of our commentary position.
Right here, Jesse using some really good head control, trying to get that head on the inside so he can control Kendall a little bit better.
As we close out round number 2.
This is a part where in a ring they would have to drag the fighters back to the middle because they'd be falling out of the ropes right now. And on top of us, which thank God we have a cage here, and I don't have to deal with JT Money's gross sweat and Kendall all over me.
That's the thing, getting back to that decision. They haven't done any research. They haven't come down here tonight to check it out. They haven't checked out tapes. They just look at little clips, base it on their own personal opinion. They need to be educated.
Yeah, my understanding is that Grady's invited the politician involved in this decision to all of his shows in order for him to get an idea of what we're really about. And Mr. Walker is not. He has not obliged him thus far. I believe the word was appropriate. He feels like cages are not appropriate, but. Let's be honest.
I think the decision's been driven by the Premier Colin Barnett.
Well, that was a thing. He overlooked the commission. The commission said cages are fine. We need them there for safety. And the guy said, "Guess what? I'm passing this law anyway." And that's where we are now. It's an unusual situation. But honestly, I theorize he's a secret fan because he's given us so much attention for the sport in Western Australia. So maybe it's a little reverse psychology on the political side.
On the political side, they're in for a fight because this thing is not going to go away. The American community is going to speak, and we're going to keep on speaking. It's not going to go away.
We've always been a strong brotherhood, even though we fight each other, and everyone who fights, we all have that in common. Just like Jesse and Kendall do. Just got some sweat on my finger. There, he's got to do a failed kick into the single. Gets Kendall down. Kendall's off to the side, working his long legs, though. He's keeping JT close to prevent him from doing damage, protecting himself. This way, it guarantees that any shots that JT does land are going to be probably half strength because he can't really cock them up and land them with a lot of gravity.
Exactly. I said JT Money doing well. He said he spent most of the fight in the top position.
That's right. They're barring a brief
round 2.
Brief rally by Kendall. I don't know. Do you think Kendall got that second round?
It's close.
Very close.
Don't leave it in the hands of the judges, as they always say. But I think round 2 was rather close. Round 1's obviously JT Money.
Yep. So far, JT is round 1 and 3. Although we'll see what kind of offense Kendall can mount. Kendall's going to have to probably hit one of those submissions and turn into a reversal. But he's working something here. He's getting his hips way off. Whenever you see a fighter's hips offset with the other fighter's hips, you know one of them's working something. Kendall's slightly off to the side. Oh, there he is. There he is. He's about to get that far butterfly. Oh, he might.
Do you think he's setting something up here?
He almost put him in the stocks is what he did. It's a move where you wrap your leg over the guy's shoulders and under his far arm, turning him into essentially a marionette of pain.
This is the other thing, if it was done in a boxing ring, we'd never see these guys in boxing ring anyway, but the fight would be stopped right now and taken to the middle. It interrupts the flow.
It's very, very important that the fighter's not interrupted. We're doing 4 different sports at the same time, and just because the cage is designed to accommodate all those. Here's Kendall hitting the switch, turning around, back on top.
Great
Excellent
move.
Reversal by the Spider. Excellent reversal. JT working from a shallow half guard. Trying to get that knee in, probably make some space. He wants to get his back up against the mat so he can stand. Kendall wants his shoulders on the floor.
Is he looking for the darts choke?
Absolutely. Kendall has a nasty darts choke. One of the nastiest in MMA due to his extreme reach.
He was looking to set it up, but had to let it go. Good defense by Jesse Taylor.
You know what? If I was fighting Kendall Groves, I would do nothing but have my training partners put me in darts and me get out.
Now, I said, it's a technical battle. We find ourselves with Kendall Groves on top and Jesse Taylor trying to work his way up against the cage to get that ground dominance again. That he's enjoyed for most part of this fight.
And the thing with Jesse, as a wrestler, he's going to tend to use a lot more power and a lot less technique when he's on his back. Wrestlers are trained to scramble and hustle from the bottom, and this is where wrestlers get tired and submitted, and they end up in bad positions.
Oh,
this is not good at all. Oh, JT needs a turn, and he hits a reversal. Savvy move by JT Money.
And again, a slight mistake by the Spider, because he didn't have it sunk in, and Jesse Taylor took full advantage of that mistake.
Well, it's very possible that JT was already moving in top position when Kendall hit that back control. Kendall's very good on the back, and if he was able to hold it, if it was capable of being done, I have a feeling he would have. But yeah, like I say, it's better to go ahead and lock up the seatbelt and hold your position and start working that choke after you've established versus trying to catch in a scramble. Scrambles are always 50-50 until they stop moving. JT back on top. This is looking a lot like we're in the third round now, so this is looking a lot like the second, isn't it?
Said, can he keep up this pace? I believe these guys have the endurance to keep this up for 5 rounds. That's what they train for.
They're doing a very good job of neutralizing each other's relative offenses. They've clearly prepared specifically for each other, and that's why we're seeing such a back and forth battle here tonight. This is amazing. It's really good.
As Groves tried to make his way, use the cage up. Jesse threw him back, and he's got his back at the moment. But said, good defense by Groves.
If I was Jesse, I'd be punching right here versus fighting for wrestling position. I'd rip that right hand out and sink it into his temple.
See, Groves has got, he's lost his wrist there, so he was looking to set something up. And
yeah, Kendall needs to stack and shuck Jesse off.
Look at that.
Just like that. Good elbows.
What a technical battle between two experienced UFC fighters.
Back and forth. This is a really competitive match. I'm very pleased with it.
We're coming to 10 seconds left in round number 3. And this is what we want. We wanted a 5-round war, and this is what we're getting.
Jesse now protecting himself from the bottom as well. Both of them have excellent defenses. Defense, defense, defense.
Not so much a war, but it's a great technical battle. Both guys had their moments.
Well, I say this is absolutely a war. I mean, the only difference is that they both have exceptional defenses, so neither one. The factor is conditioning. That's what we need. Jesse is, that's an issue with wrestlers, is that they're trained to go 6 minutes hard, and they do that a couple of times in a tournament. And an MMA round, an entire round is 5 minutes.
So they got their minute up their sleeve.
It can be well. I mean, they do it first, but I mean, we're talking a whole match. Instead of 3 2-minute rounds, we're looking at 5-minute rounds. It's a completely different creature. And if conditioning turns out to be a factor for JT Money, which at the moment it may be, then Kendall might be looking at a serious edge in the championship rounds where we're going into right now.
This is where it happens, doesn't it? And it's where you won your last fight in the main event of Bragging Rights 4.
Absolutely. Only I spent the first 3 rounds resting.
Again, thanks to Fraser Motorcycles, major sponsor of KL's Entertainment's Bragging Rights 5. Also, everything MMA. Great gear, great guys.
Jesse fudging 2 kicks right off the back and getting stuffed. I believe that he is tired.
Yeah, he looked tired at the corner round, but he also looked tired at end round number 3. Round number 2, but he found a way, and he's working his way back as well.
Well, his wrestling is kicking in right now. All of his, all that college wrestling they made him do, he is ending up on top regardless, even though he is all tied up like an octopus by the spider.
Again, just shows you how strong, and I said Stephen Kennedy experienced that at Bragging Rights 4. I mean, he just looks like a strong wrestler, and he's controlling most of the action here tonight.
Absolutely. Jesse got through Steve Kennedy, who just spent tonight absolutely dominating a guy who's twice as big as he is. And
couldn't get JT Money off him.
No, he couldn't. And Jesse is getting absolutely, he's controlling position, but he's being neutralized.
What's also been impressive is that, when Kendall gets top position, it's very hard to get that guy off, especially with his long legs. But Jesse Taylor's done it about 3 times tonight.
He's spinning for that armbar. He really wants to get his hips out to the left and hit that leg around the head.
You see the whole Palais barking instructions right in the corner there to JT Money.
Yeah, who could miss that enormous head?
Let's hope we see the Hulk back in the UFC very soon, along with these 2 guys, because they're good enough to be there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I just heard the UFC cut a whole bunch of people. I heard they're looking to cut Faber.
That'd be a good fight. Who's fighting tomorrow at UFC 157?
Absolutely. You can see Ronda Rousey. They had to capitalize on that. Ronda coming in, bringing the thunder with arm-breaking judo power.
All right. Another armbar submission first round prediction.
That's my prediction, but we will see, man. I don't know who this other chick is, but
Liz Carmouche.
She better be the real deal, because Ronda sure as heck is.
Former U.S. Marine, and said no one else wanted the fight. She did, so you got to give her props for that.
Oh, absolutely. You got to respect the guy who's going to step, or the woman who's going to step in there when nobody else will. All right, Jesse on the back with wrist control. Let's see where it's going. Kendall going to maybe work he's going to work and open up. twist and sit.
Is that a right move to make by Jesse Taylor? Because he just lost position.
Right now, no. He's on the bottom, and he needs to watch out with that front choke, because Kendall definitely wants that. He wants that anaconda. He wants that Darce. He wants that guillotine.
Here we go.
That's what. The Darce. He's going to ratchet. Looks like, and Jesse's hand controlling.
As you said, how you would have prepared. That's probably what Jesse Taylor's done.
You can tell that he's looking for that Darce. Like, whenever Kendall gets into a good position, he's looking for that Darce choke. Okay, Kendall on the back. Oh, falling back. Again, another issue with, like you said before, it looks like it wasn't sunk. The position wasn't 100%, and he fell back
and lost it.
You need to be careful with things like that. You know, against a high-level guy, if it's not the technical guy, it's the most technical guy that's going to win.
Said JT Money. You can see the Team Quest logo on his shorts. A lot of good fighters come out of Team Quest. Started a long time ago. Ran it in the Natural Couture.
Team Quest, a long-standing institution.
Dan Hendo Henderson fighting Lyoto Machida tomorrow at UFC 157.
Absolutely.
Co-main event.
Oh, it's going to be fantastic. I can't wait for that fight.
And our own Solihull Palale was part of Team Quest for a while. Said back and forward action, you know?
Yeah, Kendall working up. It looks like he's not going to be able to get back up without giving his back up a little bit. Let's see what you can do, though. One thing about guys who are jiu-jitsu is their offense and defense are almost as good. You know, it's going to be hard to submit Kendall, just like it's going to be hard not to get submitted against him. JT might have to settle for position in this case.
Exactly. Full guard again.
Although positioning win fights as well. Kendall's officially, I would say, behind.
I'd say, because it comes down to octagon control, as I always say. It seems, you know, perception-wise, that JT Money has got that.
Top guy wins. You can have the best guard in the world, but if you stay on your back the whole fight, you're losing a decision, son.
Exactly. It just depends on the submission attempts, but there hasn't been enough except for the first round by Despider.
He's had some moments for sure, but Jesse's wrestling so far has carried him through. Yeah.
You can see Despider doing the smart thing, trying to get up against the cage, and use the fence to get up to his feet again and then mount another attack. And here we go. Here. But well done by JT Money.
This is such a tough grappling battle, back and forth. You can see so much strategy coming into play with this, and this is not a striking match at all. You know, this is wrestling, and when you have a battle like this, you have one guy who's more of a bottom specialist and one guy's more of a top specialist, and that's the round.
That was like Damian Meyer style, just, you know, all over him, wouldn't let him go, didn't give him an inch. But after each round, JT Money looks spent, but he comes out and delivers. He's got to use this time to recover, doesn't he? Look at him.
Yeah. Jesse's hurting right now. He's going to need to take some deep breaths, get his game plan together, and hopefully, I mean, for his sake, he's going to need to get on top and stay there.
He's got 5 minutes to do it.
Yeah, Kendall, on the other hand, it's very possible he might go for broke in this round. So
he has to. If he's got a smart corner, he's got to say, you're down, you've got to go for the knockout or submission.
And Jesse's tired, you know. It's very those opportunities for Kendall are going to be more prevalent in this round than any other, for sure. Let's see if he can capitalize.
And I don't think either of these guys have gone 5 rounds for a while now.
That's a very good point. Jesse and Kendall both, their wins outside the UFC have been, I believe, all finishes.
And quick.
And very quick.
As you saw, bragging rights for Jesse Taylor.
Well, these guys are both finishers. We know that. And, you know, when you get two guys at the same level, you get a technical chess match. Round 5.
Well done to Grady, Stewart, and Chaos Entertainment for bringing this fight to Perth.
Absolutely. Grady did an excellent job. This show has run like clockwork, and it has been nothing but a pleasure to be a part of it.
It's probably been the best put, you know, Chaos Entertainment show so far. It's been 5 of them.
With Jesse forcing that high crotch or high single and getting the takedown.
And this is where he wants it.
Finds himself back in Kendall's guard. It's really all on Kendall at this point. Kendall's going to have to make something happen, hit another one of his submission attempts before he gets too pressed up against the cage to do anything about it. Jesse's got such smothering, blanketing control from the top, though. He can be and he's so strong.
It reminds me of the fights that Damian Meyer has had recently. You know, just smother him, don't let him breathe, and that's been Jesse Taylor's style tonight. But Kendall has had his moments, but not enough of them.
Yeah, Damian turned into a wrestler overnight, it seems, didn't it?
Yeah.
Of course, he did lateral drops Chael Sonnen into a submission. He was probably good all along.
Said Despider's got to do something now.
Yeah, he's going to want to get his hips moving.
He's
gotta
looking
get
for that arm.
Yeah, oh, he might. Oh, he's got it. Oh, he had it. He had the arm. If Kendall wraps around, he could.
Still got that wrist.
As long as he maintains that wrist control. All right, Jesse's out of it now. Yeah, you know, just that extra foot of being pressed against the cage, it takes away a lot of your momentum. Kendall does not need to be stagnant here. He's got to move.
We need to get that balloon out of the cage.
There is a balloon that has escaped into the cage.
It's probably a celebration of the caliber of fight we got now.
Yeah.
Well done, ref.
There should be more balloons.
That comes after it.
Jesse's still working some short elbows and hammer fist. I'm impressed at how uninjured both of these guys look. There's been absolute pure strategy this entire matchup, just reversing positions back and forth. Kendall looking for the sneaky bottom Kimura from Z-guard. And now back to full.
Props to JT Money. He said he's taken it where he wants it tonight, and done extremely well. His wrestling's just shone through against someone of the experience. 13 UFC fights of Kendall Despider Grove.
That's right. Kendall finished that whole contract with the UFC that he won. Jesse is doing a really good job of just keeping that top control. And, you know, Kendall was saying in one of his interviews I had that he's always had trouble with wrestlers, but he's back up again. Jesse being a high-level wrestler, I'll tell you, I wouldn't want to fight him. I'm glad he's in a different weight class. I wouldn't want to fight Kendall either. He's huge. Oh, look at the knee bar. Sneaky. He might still go for it. It's right there. Kendall's going to need to maintain
That's the thing.
risk.
Kendall always believes that he's in this fight until the last moment.
Well, I mean, look at him. He is. I mean, he just thought about a knee bar. If Jesse had held still for a second longer, he would have rolled for it.
But it makes him more aware of what JT Money can do, because said he's been all over him for the majority of the fight.
Kendall on top again.
Here we go. This is his opportunity.
Man, every single round, we've got this back and forth. Kendall landed some very good short elbows for that position, partially blocked, but elbow's an elbow. I don't care if you block it or not.
They still hurt, don't they?
Yeah, you know what? From those big long arms, it hurts a lot more than it looks like.
Defense by JT Money.
JT turned his back.
Here we go.
Kendall.
He's looking to turn it around again. He's been successful all night, and can he do it again? And it looks like he's going to.
Oh, looks like Jesse's going to pop out on top again.
There you go.
Kendall needs to ride that scramble back up on top. He needs to round it back up. He needs to be thinking, get back to the feet or submit, you know. You end up in a submission situation. And here we are in the championship minute. Kendall better do something. He looks like...
yeah, he's got to know that he's behind. And he said it's what we wanted. You know, the hype has lived up.
We have gotten a fierce, competitive title matchup for 25 minutes against two top-tier opponents.
Any mixed martial arts fan has got to be happy with what they've seen tonight. The caliber, the quality of a main event. It's what we wanted.
That's right. People of Australia, this is how you fight.
People of Western Australia, this is what we're going to miss for a while.
That's absolutely right. It's really sad that we're not going to get to see any more fights in this enclosure like this. You know, we're going to have to start adjusting. I don't know, maybe we'll bring back pride rules and start kicking each other in the face again.
Ridiculous. We say Kendall going for broke in these last moments, but
Kendall,
I think it's too little too late. There we go. Great fight, guys.
Kendall finishes the fight on top, landing strikes.
Jesse Taylor is bent.
Was it enough to clinch him the victory and the decision? We will find out after the official decision here coming up.
Retain his Chaos middleweight title, or will it go to a new champion in Kendall Despider Grove? While we wait for the judges to render their decision, as said, I think that JT Money has done enough, but again, stranger things has happened. We've seen some strange decisions from judges in the UFC lately, so you never know.
You really never know, but you know what? This isn't the UFC. I think it's pretty clear that that Jesse was able to edge him with his decision. Although Jesse looks like he's about to puke right now. He's so tired. He definitely left it all in the cage, and we couldn't ask for anything more. Excellent performance by the Spider as well. Kendall did a very good job of shutting down Jesse's offense. He didn't get hit with anything major. In fact, if you look at their faces, I want to say Jesse's even more beat up than Kendall is.
He's got a couple of mouses from those elbows.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, those elbows are no joke. Those are big elbows. I mean, he's like he's like a walking elbow. He's a 6'6" elbow.
Well, I'm going to get in the octagon. I'm going to pass you on to Steve, the Black Mamba Owen, and I'll speak to you guys shortly.
Come on, Jesse, don't throw up on us. Yeah, he's heaving.
How good was that fight, man?
Hey, what's up, Mama? How you doing, brother?
Very good. How are you?
Yeah. So let's talk about the state of Jesse JT Money's stomach right now. He looks like he's about to yak hardcore.
I think that's all from the knees from Kendall Grove.
I think it's probably from wrestling for 25 minutes straight.
Yeah.
He's just doing it for 6.
And how good was that jiu-jitsu, man? From both parties.
All right, with the official decision.
Yep. Right, who do you reckon right now?
I would say JT by decision. I think he did enough, although he's hurting right now. Oh man, Kendall did great.
Yeah.
I think Jesse edged him and retained his belt.
Judge 1, score of the match 50-48. Judge 2, score of the match 48-47. Judge 3, score of the match 49-47. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner by unanimous decision, and still the champion.
All right, Jesse retains the belt. What a main event that we had here tonight. Very, very impressive main event. Full 5-minute rounds, 25 minutes of high-level, top-shelf mixed martial arts action. And the last time we're going to see it inside a cage in Western Australia, at least for a while.
Yep.
All right, I'm with your winner and still Chaos Entertainment middleweight champion, Jesse JT Money Taylor. Jesse, you're a bit scared at the moment. JT Money, the champion, is obviously very tired after a grueling battle. I'm with this fighter, Kendall Grove. First of all, let's say thank you very much for coming to Perth. You're a fighter with 13 UFC fights. It was a tough fight, and you second control your belt this round. You came close to an armbar in the first. How close were you sinking in that armbar in the first round?
I thought I was close to his head popped out, but I'm just trying to bring it in. He's like good. He's good, man. He's a dominant top fighter, and he showed it. I tried to bust my ass to get on the top. He's very simple. I couldn't maintain my back position. That's why he's a champ. Sorry, hopefully next time I'll come out with another show for you guys. You guys deserve better. I apologize. I'll be back next time. Thank you. Thank you, Perth.
Kendall the Spider Grove, new father of twins, while he was away at this competition. He is going right home to Hawaii to see his family.
Kendall the Spider Grove, ladies and gentlemen.
And a hell of a challenger, one hell of a challenger. Excellent performance by the Spider.
Fantastic show tonight. Again, we need your support to keep safety enclosures for the cage in place.
All right, Dave Hollywood Hewlett. I think we saw a great main event. It was a back and forth battle, a technical battle. The true MMA fan would have been, rapt to see something like that in our hometown of Perth, Western Australia.
Absolutely, it was a really competitive match. We saw all 5 rounds, and grappler versus grappler, 2 different styles. And Kendall had plenty of opportunities when he showed how good he was in reversing JT Money and getting on top of him and stuff. But it turns out JT's wrestling was the deciding factor in this fight.
Yeah, I think it was the right decision. It was a close decision on the judges' scorecard. Kendall Grove did have his moments when he made those reversals, but couldn't keep them. And Jesse Taylor found a way to find himself on top for the majority of the fight. Again, it was a great back and forth battle and great grappling battle as well by 2 guys that was so experienced. Again, Kendall Grove, 13 fights in the UFC, 7 wins, Season 3 Ultimate Fighter winner versus Jesse Taylor, also with UFC experience. made the final of season 7 of The Ultimate Fighter. Probably would have won the show. Again, he stuffed up. He bounced back, he recovered and made amends, and he's on his way back. And what we saw tonight, he could find himself with another shot in the UFC because he's doing extremely well.
If Jesse did anything tonight, he showed how tough he is and how even though he was clearly exhausted towards the last couple of rounds, he sucked it up and he made it happen and he stayed on top and he got that victory.
Again, I wanted to have more of a conversation with the guys, but they were spent. They couldn't wait to say quick thanks. And get out the back and probably have lots of water.
Absolutely, they're going to go and check that out. They're going to go and chill out, probably get a rest. I wonder if either one of those guys is going to go out drinking tonight. They're going to be tired.
They're going to be tired, but they'll still find a way to do it, especially JT Money by retaining his Chaos Entertainment middleweight title.
For sure.
I've got to give big props again to Grady Stewart, promoter of Chaos Entertainment. I think this is the best show that he's put on.
Oh, yeah.
Breaking Rights number 5, it's run smooth. We've had great fights. Unfortunately, it'll be the last one with the fenced enclosure, the cage, for a while because, again, I think it's a ridiculous decision to take it away. You've got the Professional Combat Sports Commission of WA strongly recommending that the fenced enclosures stay in place because it's safety. Yep. You've got a bunch of politicians headed by the Premier Colin Barnett, followed by Terry Waldron, saying that, well, that's fine, but we're going to decide to take away the cage. Terry Waldron said he spoke to many people in the MMA industry. Grady Stewart knows 99% of those and asked the question to Terry Waldron, well, who have you spoken to? Because I know everyone, I know no one's happy about it. And he said, well, we can't tell you that. That's a pretty strange answer if you ask me.
The convenient answer is probably more. Whenever you make a decision like that, my question to somebody is say, look, you're entitled to make your decision. You're in a position of power. You can do that. But if you can't explain yourself, and especially if you can't explain yourself to a very probably to you surprising, not to you, but to the politician, obviously surprisingly large community of your citizens that completely disagree with it. We pay your bills, or the people of Western Australia, they pay this guy's salary. They should listen. He should listen to them, especially when the whole point of having an advisory board of people in the commission is to let him know whether or not he's barking up the wrong tree or not. And he clearly has here. And like I say, I'm still sticking with my theory that he's a secret fan of the sport because the amount of attention that has garnered us has been way more than we could have gotten or than we would have gotten if he hadn't made this silly rule.
Yeah, again, it's based on opinion because he hasn't been able to give a satisfying, answer, and he's been asked several times.
Yep.
And that's the other thing. It's an education process. You yourself coming from America, you only know our sport as mixed martial arts, and you were surprised yourself coming down to Perth when everyone calling it cage fighting in the media who needs to be educated and a lot of the public as well. It's called mixed martial arts, not cage fighting.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it's really semantics because it is cage fighting. I mean, and cage fighting's cool, but at the same time, it's still a sport. I mean, it's cage fighting, mixed martial arts, call it whatever you want. The fact of the matter is you have an athletic commission, you have safety regulations, you have a lot of safety regulations, not just testing for athletes, make sure everybody's healthy. You have doctor reviews. You're not allowed to fight. You're getting suspended by commissions if you've been knocked out recently. There's a million rules in the sport. And,
don't say there's no rules because there's plenty of rules.
Absolutely.
And as I say, you're a mixed martial artist yourself. You're not a cage fighter, so to speak. Danny Green is a great boxer. He's not a ring fighter.
Absolutely.
So don't say there's no rules because there's plenty.
It's
but
a
again,
very good point.
This is not going to go away. The MMA community got to stand strong. Got to, like tonight's events showed. There's reasons why there's things in place and we can't lose them. But going back to the sport, and participating in a boxing ring, it's regressive. It's taken a step backwards. So we got to show them and give them the reason, stay positive and keep fighting because there's a petition going around tonight. It's going to get a hell of a lot of support. Chaos Entertainment Facebook page, websites. Speak to the Combat Sports Commission, and speak to other people to get advice.
Yeah, it's the one thing coming up. I came up in Birmingham, Alabama, and there wasn't a scene. The state of Alabama the government didn't recognize mixed martial arts as a sport until like
a lot of things have changed
until like 4 years ago. But the whole first 8-9 years of my career, I was fighting out of there. Completely unregulated. And I'll tell you, it's so much better now that we have a commission that takes care of the fighters. And you know what? The one thing I found is that whether the government lets it happen or not, mixed martial arts is here to stay, and we're going to keep training, we're going to keep fighting.
Just finally, again, UFC, Tom Wright was here. It's going to cost the government, 15 to 20 million by not having a UFC event at the Perth Arena. So think about that. The fight's not over. Hollywood, we got to sign off. Thank you for joining me at commentary. You've been fantastic.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
We've had a fantastic main event. Kendall to Spider Grove versus JT Money Taylor. JT Money Taylor retaining his Chaos Entertainment middleweight title. So from the Perth Italian Club in Perth, Australia, signing off, and we'll see you next time.